So you've shown us the inside of the muscles. How do they look on the outside? What are the bits that we can see and feel on the outside?
I think it's really important to understand the outside as well, because the better we understand the anatomy, the better we can do the exercises. So if we look, that's what we could see from the deep muscles inside. If we look up from the outside, which is what we're more familiar with, I'm going to put an overlay on. That's the tailbone right at the back. That's the back passage, the anus. This bit between the vagina and the anus is called the perineal body. If you haven't had a baby, it's quite big. But if you've had a vaginal delivery, the first delivery just pushes that a bit wider and this bit becomes a lot smaller, which they don't really warn you about. So it's quite good to know that. It doesn't get bigger with each one. Then above the vagina, you have the opening of the bladder tube called the urethra. And on some people, that's really obvious. And on other people, you can hardly see it at all. It's covered with skin. And at the top there, the knobbly bit is the clitoris. And then normally this has got this area, the vulva, has got hair on it. So you wouldn't see, and skin, and you wouldn't see this pinkness here. You'd just see these openings. But I like to look at this and use it as a way of thinking about how we're going to do the exercises. Because in the past, especially if you had a baby about 20 years ago, all the focus would have been on the closing round the bladder tube, maybe the vagina as well, because of the concern that you're trying to stop a leak. And it's true that this is where the bladder would leak, and we do want closure here. But it left out all this stuff around the back. And in fact, people were positively told, don't squeeze your bottom, don't squeeze the back. But now we notice that the back passage, the anus, is right in the middle. If I take this away, that is the middle of the pelvic floor.
Huge group of muscles there, a really big supporting group.
And if we leave this out, we're leaving out a really big part. And we tend to get only what we think about. So if all you're thinking about's here, all you'll get's here. So now you'll find in the instructions for teaching you to do your pelvic floor exercises that often they'll start with saying, tighten around the back passage. And it's because we've got this awareness of the anatomy. I've got another way of showing it, and that's to use your finger and suck your finger with your mouth. So if you suck your finger with your lips, that's quite a similar shape to what the surface muscles do here. And you can see that it closes round the tube. It's important for sensation on the outside of the vagina, but it's not that strong. You could suck, and you can still get your finger out. So it'll help with a light cough, but not a big cough. If you put your finger now deeper inside your mouth and suck with your tongue, can you feel the difference? What it does is your tongue pushes your finger up against the bladder, the roof of your mouth, which is the back passage coming and pushing up against the bladder and the bladder tube and giving it a lot more support. So now when you cough, there's a lot less movement.
It's a lot firmer muscle.
Much firmer.
You can feel a real grip, can't you?
Yeah. So we get better support when we cough and sneeze if we use the back bit as well. But also, did you feel how nicely it closes everything? And if you suck your cheeks in as well, you get closure from the sides.
Yes.
Well, remember that the pelvic floor is bowl-shaped. So if you can tighten the back and a sense of curtains closing or hips coming towards each other, or cheeks sucking in, you get this lovely 3D closure. And a lot of women do want to control leaks, but we've also got a lot of people who feel that everything's too gapey, too saggy. And again, if they get their technique right, coming from the back and the sides, it will give a much more sense of closing and stabilising and firmness.
So sexually, yes, it's going to be firmer, it's going to be a firmer grip and more pleasurable for both people involved,
So when we're doing our exercises, we need to make sure we're getting all of those areas working, not just the nippy bit at the front.